everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel and to my podcast. If you're new here, my name is Cassandra. I am the witch, the poet, author, and performer of Magic of Eden, and I am super excited to be in your presence today. And if you guys are returning, hey family, it is always good to be in your presence, and it is always amazing to be sharing space with you all. Now, the reason why I'm coming on here is because I wanted to give a quick message. So if you guys are tuning into the video, awesome. Thank you so much. And if you're listening into the podcast, awesome. So I wanted to go ahead and get right into this message. Now, this message is not coming easy, and the reason is because there's a lot of weight that is attached to this message. There's a lot of intensity. There's a lot of energy that is attached to this message, and that is that some of you guys are moving into a space where you are being challenged to tap more into your psychic abilities, and some of you guys are actually in a space where you are tapping more into your psychic abilities, whether you have been trying to or not. And for whatever reason, I want to point out the fact that one of the reasons why you guys have been doing so is because for some of you, you've been changing your diet. And as a result of that, you've been able to clear some of the toxins that have made you so clouded. And although this is amazing, some of you guys may feel like you're going insane, like you're going crazy, like you can't really know exactly what reality is, like you're having a really hard time distinguishing reality from what you believe to be your imagination. And your intuition is always going to lead you to the right reasoning. And just because you don't know what something means logically does not mean that the answer does not exist, and it does not mean that how you feel is incorrect. Some of you guys have always had a very strong sense of intuition, and as a result of that, now you're leveling up, you're upgrading, you've been eating the right foods, you've been surrounding yourself with the right people, or maybe even some people have been falling out of your life. You're stepping more into a higher version of yourself, and as a result of that, you are becoming more connected to everything, everyone. For some of you guys, this is a scary thing because it brings this level of fear and anxiety, feeling so many people's thoughts, like you're seeing and you're hearing people's thoughts, and you're seeing things play out before, right before your eyes, and you're seeing things before they happen, right? And some of these things can be really overwhelming because what it is it's a sensory overload because it's an overload of information, and not everybody has the capacity to be able to handle that in that moment, which is the reason why, and there's nothing wrong with this, that's the reason why some people end up having anxiety attacks and things of that nature, because it's just so much information. They feel that they're being closed in on. They feel that they're under some sort of attack. And Spirit wants me to let you know that although these are things that may be playing out in your reality right now, Spirit wants you to know right now that you are 100% protected, that you are loved, and you are carried throughout this process. Because to be quite honest with you, no matter what path you chose, what I'm hearing is that you would have ended up in this space regardless. Now, I'm being guided to let you know that there actually are ways that where you can actually protect your energy and you can protect your psyche. And one of those ways is through meditation. Now, when you are practicing meditation, not only are you practicing grounding yourself and whatnot and connecting with the divine, but you have the opportunity to raise your vibration to such a frequency that cannot be penetrated. And that is 100% a way for you to keep yourself protected. Now, meditation, what I found in my own practice is that when you're in a state of meditation, what you're doing is you're connecting with yourself while all these different thoughts around you are happening and showing face, but you have the choice to not respond to them. You allow yourself to be in your own energy. And when you're not responding to these thoughts, then they have no power over you. The only way something or someone has power over you if you are constantly submitting to this thing, and it is moving you to such a degree to where you then become imbalanced. That is how you know that this thing or this person has power and control over you. So in order to help yourself get through or prevent these psychic attacks, I would 100% say start by practicing meditation. Now, another way that I like to focus on psychic protection is by working with oils and also working with fixed candles and whatnot. Now, this fixed candle, I actually did work my magic on, and it's definitely fixed with herbs, essential oils, flowers, resins, and things like that that help me not only enhance my psychic abilities, but also protect me as I'm doing some type of spiritual or psychic work, when I'm doing divination and things of that nature. Whenever I keep this burning, I always set the intent. Well, I've already set the prayers and whatnot, but I always make sure that my intentions are on psychic protection and psychic enhancement. Working with things like that, like fixed candles and oils, helps you keep the energy on you, especially when you're working with oils, right? Now, working with oils and whatnot is extremely important to me in my own practice, because this is an extension of your magic. Now, anything that is an extension of your magic, what you are doing is you're taking your magic, you're putting it into one of your items, and you're taking it with you when you go out into the world. So that vibration is actively with you. For example, we all talk about the law of correspondence. Well, the law of correspondence is that the universe is corresponding to your energy and your frequency. So, well, if I have the energy, the frequency, and the vibe of psychic protection, then what do you think will happen when I wear the oil when I go out into the world? Psychic protection. Everything is the mind, all is the mind. And when you use these items and you infuse your energy into them, then you are taking that energy with you. And I'm going to be honest, I know that not very many people in the spiritual community will say this, but the more that you work your magic, the more that you get used to it, the less you need to even use things like oils and things of that nature. It then just simply becomes more of like just simply a hygiene thing. I don't need this incense to protect me. I don't need this oil to protect me. However, I'm going to use it anyway because it is a part of my spiritual hygiene. It is a part of my spiritual practice. It no longer is a requirement. And if I don't have this, then I'm going to fail or I'm going to die or something extreme like that. No. You've gotten to such a degree where you can just simply tap into your mind and the energy is just simply there. However, I'm gonna still work my magic. I'm gonna still work my oils. I'm gonna still use my candles and things like that because that's just me. You got to do what you got to do, and it is what it is. Another way that you can protect your psyche is by surrounding yourself with people who are of a likeness to you. Surrounding yourself with people who have your best interests at heart. Tapping into your intuition and using your discernment and knowing who is for you and who is not. And if you guys love working your magic and things of that nature, especially if you grew into chaos magic, I would 100% say keep a sigil around you. Now, the powerful thing about sigils is that they are made obviously by the practitioner and they hold a very certain type of energy to help you with your magical workings. Now, the way that I like to use sigils is I like to use them to charge oils and to charge my candles and things of that nature. I like to use them and draw them on the ground and on the concrete when I'm working my magic outside, or I'll take some chalk and I'll draw them like on the floor whenever if I have to do my magic inside and things of that nature. I love doing that. Now, what I want to say about sigils, just real quick, is that you want to make sure that you keep them in the spaces where you're always at. More than likely, if you're always at home, well, by default, you want to have a sigil like at home for protection, like regardless. Like, you know what I mean? If you haven't had one for protection and you use sigils, well, we gotta have a top. Anyways, so basically, you want to make sure that you keep a sigil at your home. You want to make sure that you keep a sigil in your car. You also want to make sure you have one at your place of business. The reason is because these are three places that we always are, because these are places that we normally go to because they're a part of our everyday life, right? So you always want to make sure that you have them in those spaces. At least that's for me. You know, people may beg to differ. Some feel like, oh, they don't need them or whatever. And some people go to the extreme of getting their sigils tattooed on them. Either way it goes, I do feel that sigils are an amazing way for you to work your magic surrounding psychic protection. You can choose to do this if you want to. You can choose not to. You can throw this information out if you want to. Hey, it's a vibe. I'm here for that. Nothing wrong with it, okay? Those are some ways that I actively practice psychic protection. I am good for calling in my angels, spirit guide, archangels, and beings of light who want the best for my highest and my greatest good. And last, but in most importantly, not least, in fact, the most important is that I actually call on my ancestors every day. What I do in my own practice is I thank them for being around me. I thank them for the wisdom that they give me. I thank them for running through my blood, and I thank them for protecting me on a day-to-day basis. I give them permission to go and to come into my life to grant me the most protection that I possibly can, because they're actively working in the unseen world that we cannot most of the time see with our physical eyes. They're working behind the scenes to keep us protected. So one of the most important things that you can do for psychic protection is call upon your ancestors, because trust me, they listen and they there and they gonna help you. The ones that are benevolent though. Like we only want to call on the benevolent ones. Like we're not messing with the benevolent ancestors, okay? At least not me. Like if that's what you do, cool. But if you do that, more than likely you're not really interested in being here because we don't rock that. We don't rock that way. Like that's not us. Anyway, I feel that these are all ways that you can help to keep yourself protected, to keep your psyche protected and things of that nature. And I 100% will say to develop a relationship with the divine, develop a relationship with God, develop a relationship with yourself. Because when you develop a relationship with God, you really are, in my own personal little belief over here, right? You are actually building a relationship with your higher self because your highest self is God. You are God in flesh. You are a goddess in the flesh. And at the end of the day, I feel that when you are developing and enhancing this relationship and honoring this relationship with the divine, you are in turn doing this for yourself. And that is another reason why meditation is important because as you're meditating, you are actively connecting with these higher forces. And that is what can help you protect your psyche. Also, I want to mention too that I like to put plants and like certain things like mugwort. I like to hang those up and things of that nature. I like to hang mugwort whenever I can get my hands on some mugwort and just different types of herbs and flowers and whatnot that keep me at a space where I can feel vibrant and I can feel at my most high vibrational. And I'll even have things around me that I feel will help me tap into my badass energy that help keep me protected. I'm just saying, that's me. You ain't got to do that. It's up to you. But I like to do what I do, and that's what I do here over at Magic of Eden. So I really wanted to come on here and say this because so many of you are in spaces where you are starting to embody more of your higher self. And as a result of that, again, your psychic awareness is enhancing. Pay attention to the dreams that you've been having. Go back and think about the dreams that you have been having because more than likely they are giving you keys and hints into what is going on in your life right now. So I would really recommend that you take the time out to really decode the dreams that you have. Also, I really do love decoding dreams and whatnot. So if you need any help with that, let me know down in the comments and or visit my website because I do have bookings available for that only for a limited time because I will be closing those down. But anyways, take a moment to think about the dreams that you've been having so that you can decode those because again, they do contain lots of information that can help you during this time. Now, I do want to say this too that this information I feel is I'm being called to share this information because there is a major influence of this Pisces new moon. Now, although this video is not about the Pisces new moon, I do want to say that new moon to me was all about stepping into not only your compassion and your love and being direct and straightforward about the things that you want and the things that you see for yourself and being and protecting yourself through boundaries, which also boundaries is 100% another way for you to practice psychic protection, right? And for you to call in protection is by setting boundaries. It's also about you embodying and becoming your greatest version through connectedness and through allowing yourself to tap into your higher consciousness. Now, one thing that I do want to say is that the original ruler of Pisces was Jupiter. And Jupiter is all about expansion, yes, but he's also about compassion, love, joy, and benevolence and things of that nature. And having that vibe itself can help to keep you protected. I know that in magic and witchcraft and in hoodoo and things like that, like we like to do what we need to do to conjure these, more intense energies that keep us protected. You can also, in conjunction with that, call on light forces to help keep you protected as well. How do I know this? Well, because I do it all the time. I've done it. There are certain how when you have certain shoes or when you have certain shoes and you save a shoe for a certain occasion, it's the same way with me with my magic. There are certain things that I would use on certain occasions, and it just is what it is. I'm constantly vibing and flowing with the energy, and I'm working with the energy, not against it. And that's the reason why I pick and I choose which way I want to go when it comes to protecting myself and protecting my psyche. So I want you guys to know that you are not alone on this journey. I know that it can be really intense and sometimes it just you feel like it's unbearable and you feel like you just can't do it, and I'm here to let you know that you can. Sometimes it's hard, it's intense, and I want you to know that no matter what, one of the best things that you can do for yourself is to surrender and to let go and to allow yourself to not become victimized by these situations and by these things. And the way that you do that is by declaring that you are not weak, that you have your power, and that you actively are walking in your power, and therefore you are declared free. And that is something that is very powerful that I wanted to share, because there's so many people out here who have these intuitive gifts, who have these psychic abilities, and they can't understand themselves, and they can't understand why me. And one thing that I want to say is, why not you? You're a spiritual badass. Why wouldn't it be you? Like, you know what I mean? And I know that we say these things a lot, but how often do we take the time out to really sit and really think about that? Like, you are a spiritual badass. Like, you are God in the flesh. Like, why wouldn't it be you? Like, you know what I mean? Like, who better it be than you? Like, you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to glamorize your trauma and your pain and things of that nature. What I am saying is that there are people on this planet like yourself who just simply have that motherfucking it quality. Excuse me. But real shit, like, there are people like yourself on this planet who just have immense power, and there's no need for you to be afraid of that. Because to be afraid of your power is to be afraid of yourself. And I do understand what it's like to be afraid of what you're capable of. And that is the reason why actively channeling this energy and working with it constantly, as if you're stretching, a muscle, or if you're building up a muscle, is how you can be assured that you are making the right decisions when it comes to you exerting your power. Do you see what I mean? And I feel that you upping your spiritual practice and you spending more time developing a spiritual practice for yourself and a spiritual routine can help you to tap more into this energy and into this power. Okay. I just wanted to come on here and say that. And I really do hope that this message helps someone. I hope that all the information that I just gave wasn't too overwhelming, because I know that I can just kind of talk a mile a minute sometimes. So, yes. Thank you guys for listening to me, and thank you for talking to me and whatnot. It has been a pleasure, and I appreciate the time that we have spent here today. If you guys need anything from me, you guys can visit me online at magicofeden.com. And you guys can also follow along with me on Instagram at Magic of Eden. I'll make sure that I have all of the information down in the description box. That is all that I have for you guys, and I'll see you guys in my next video.